So if you thought the end of summer breeding was going to be the end of breeding, you completely underestimated me. Up here we have, this is Gee Whiz, who is whistling at us. He's Zoo's son. And that's his girl Dottie, who's new to us. They've been in here for about 10 days now, and I just today saw Dottie come climbing out of the nest. So they are working their way up to it. This is the Fosters. They took a rest this summer, but they are not getting a rest this fall. I'll be putting boxes on their flight in the next few days. These are my two Borks. That's Rosario is the normal, and his girl Garnet is the Lutino hen. I am just waiting them out. I don't know if they're doing anything. I've never bred these birds before. But they do sit there next to the nest box. And they're both fat and sassy and feeling good. So hopefully something will happen this time. This is brain fade. Oh, this is Unakite, who I had with osmosis, but something's wrong with osmosis. She can never seem to lay more than 2 eggs at a time, and they're never fertile. And frankly, Unakite is too valuable of a bird to keep trying with her anymore. So I put him in here with Larkspur, and we'll see what happens. She is a mauve spangled pied, so we should get all kind of different things with her. This is his brother, let's see, Dolerite, Unakite, and Dacite. This is Dacite. I bred him to baby. I got magnificent chicks out of him, and I planned to leave him with her, but I had to break him up and put him with this girl. She is a gray wing hen, and he's an opaline yellow face, so these two are going to breed babies to go into my rainbow line. They have decided they love each other, and they taught me a new lesson. I put these two in here. He was bonded to baby, and she was bonded to her brother, and they hated each other on sight. So I put up a full block so they couldn't see the birds next door, and for 7 days they went completely batshit, and then all of a sudden they stopped and decided to love each other, and they're getting a nest box tomorrow. These two, same thing. These guys down here loved each other before I put them in. This is Danube, whose babies were both so small with the recessive pied hen that I put them with, that I didn't keep either of them, and I put her with Glory because they hooked up out in a big flight. Glory abandoned Bear Grylls, so I'm hoping to get something I can keep out of this. They had a half, I put them in here, they were already in love, and this is her sister, Aster, and I put her in here, and she and Quinn, whose girl failed him, in here, and I put a half divider between them, and they did nothing for an entire week, even though they're totally in love. So I finally gave up and put a full divider in, and I'm beginning to see, because the birds are showing me, that they want full privacy. If you want them to get busy and get down to business, you have to give them full privacy. So I'm just going to have to put full block dividers between all the cages, which I hate to do because it gets kind of dark in there, but if they like it that way, then so be it. Up here we have Chalk and Lemony, whom I've been trying to get together forever. They had a nest full of blank eggs. I got sick, and then when I came back out, there was one more egg in the nest, and it is fertile. So yay, we have fertility. However, all of her eggs are drying out, which tells me that her calcium is low and her eggshells are inadequate. So I am not holding my breath that this last embryo is going to make it, but I'm thrilled that they showed me fertility, because that means next spring, when I set them up again, I expect to get, and she's had a long rest, and she hasn't laid any eggs forever, and she's been eating all her calcium, etc., etc. I expect that I'll get some proper babies out of them. And also, that embryo is still alive for now, so we're just going to wait. Okay. This is Smoke and Ice. They picked each other since Smoke's niece. These are the only two birds I had from this line. They're both gray yellow faces. His niece was Osmosis. She's not breedable. Smoke, you have to produce something. But again, they picked each other out in the flight cage, and I said, you know what, that'll work. We'll get a bunch of spangles. He's a double factor spangle. A yellow face spangle. Double factor spangle wouldn't hurt either. But I put a half divider on their cage, and they did nothing for a week. So again, I put a full divider in, and now they seem to be getting down to business. I skipped over, this is Steel. He was with Hyacinth last time. I got one chick out of him. She laid 6 eggs the first time. 1 egg was fertile. She hatched it out, but she didn't feed the baby, so somebody else raised it, and I have 1 chick from them. But then I put them together the second time, and nothing happened again, and I got all blank eggs. So I gave up, and I put him in here with Spring. Spring is the hen that was with Shu and gave me all of those, what do you call them, recessive pied, violet recessive pies. They're both really nice birds, and they both need a new permanent partner, so I put them in here, and they took one look at each other and said, oh yeah, that'll work, and that was it. This is, they're in a white cage. It's hard to see the bars. This is Colorado, and I forgot her name. She's never been bred before. She is the full sister of Clement, who is the one that's probably not feeling well out in the cage that I have to go look at. And again, they picked each other out. I put them in here with a half divider with these guys, and they did nothing. So I put in a full divider, and hopefully they will settle down and get to work. This is Mist, and this little guy who I'm not at all sure that I've named. Mist is a magnificent bird, but she has health issues, but she's looking really good right now. And she's been stuck with Malachite. I bred them together 3 times. They never bonded. Malachite was the most promiscuous cock I ever had, and not even a great bird, so I got rid of him. And now this guy is not much to look at, but his father was Sprite, and Sprite had magnificent feather, and she has magnificent feather. So I'm hoping by crossing them up, I'll pull the good feather out of him and end up with some good babies. They are taking their time getting to know each other. He's a very low-ranking cock, but the hope is that he was not promiscuous, so he'll stick, and she'll finally get a permanent mate. So we'll see. This is Luna and Scrappy, and they both feel terrible. They have electrolytes in their water. I'm not giving them any wet foods because they've got the runs. And hopefully, with some rest and electrolytes, they'll start feeling better in a little while. So, this is Murphy and his girl, Lemieux. Murphy and Lemieux, who love each other dearly. And they've been up here forever. And she laid another batch of 5 eggs, and they were fertile, and all the embryos have been dying again. I don't know what's up with that. I fear she might have some kind of disease or something. Either that, or she's just laying faulty eggs. So, the last embryo is still going. I will not break him up until I'm absolutely sure that it has perished. But I am not holding my breath. Anything is going to happen here. This is, oh my goodness, he doesn't have a name still. This is the Mauve. Did I name him? If I did, I don't remember it. Yellow-faced Mauve cock. This guy, he has a lot of feather. He looks like a reasonable-sized bird, but he is not. He is literally the size of my thumb underneath all of that feather. He's absolutely tiny. But I can tell you why. He has rolled ankles, which means that he was probably the 4th or 5th chick in the nest and didn't get enough food when he was growing, so he was headed towards rickets, and it stunted his growth. The other thing is, he is continually growing in. You see how short his primary flights are? It's because the three primary flights on the outer edges of his wings grow in and fall out. Grow in and fall out. And this is a bird that is probably, I think his band says he's 2 years old. So he had French molt, which is another thing that will stunt their growth. Now, he clearly got over it because he's feeling good. He loves this girl. This is Shakti. She is sisters with Athena. I had loaned her out to a friend and got her back. And she comes out of a line, the Matilda line, which throws me hens that will make babies out of anything, no matter what. And after pairing him with two other hens, I stuck two other hens in here, Shakti and another hen, and decided to let the girls fight over him. And Shakti, I came over here and sat and watched. He was sitting in the middle of the perch, Shakti on one end, the other hen on the other end, and he sidled over next to Shakti and gave her a kiss, and then he sidled over next to the other hen and took a big swing at her and tried to peck her. So I'm like, all right, you made your choice. And Shakti, my Matilda line girl, has done exactly what she's supposed to do. And I have 4 eggs with 4 embryos in them. So my hope here is that Mr. No Name has genes that are much, much bigger than him. And the rolled ankles and the feathers that continually fall out tell me that he had all kind of problems as a baby, and that's why he never grew. But there are genetics in there that should throw me some normal-sized birds. And on top of that, Shakti comes from a line of very, very hardy hens. They're health-wise very sturdy. So hopefully outcrossing him to a hen that has strong genetics, strong breeding genetics, and all that will help, and making sure that he doesn't have too many babies to raise. So what am I going to do if she lays 6 fertile eggs? Well, I could put one up here, and I could put one over there, and not break them up when their eggs fail. So, or I'm setting up all my fosters, so I could do that too. This is, he has a name. He's Mist and Malachite's son, and he's a nice bird. Even as a yearling, he stayed on the bench against some pretty stiff competition, and I set him up with Rain because she dumped Congo. They didn't stay bonded, so and they seem to be sticking it out. And he's aggressively moving her in the right direction. So I am not using any of my lower cages for fall breeding. Because it's colder down there and draftier. So I'm using higher cages only. So I'm pretty full, actually. Once these 2 clear out, I might put another pair in there. And it depends on if these guys stay, Lemony and these guys. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I'm also actually really planning on shipping birds. So I may not have a huge amount of budgie eggs to foster to my fosters, in which case I'll let them raise some of their own chicks and use them as travel companions for people that only want to buy one budgie, because I'm not going to ship one bird. They'll die of terror. So you got to have 2 birds. So if you don't want to buy 2 budgies, or a cockatiel and a budgie or whatever, then you can give me $15 and I'll put a regular parakeet chick in there to keep them company. So, okay. So that is the beginning of fall 2021 breeding.